2026.
Yep.
Right? Things have changed. What can we really dig into right now to make some serious cash?
2026 year is going to be the year of the intellect influencer. So see the days of being pretty or looking good and sitting beside a Lambo and Dubai in the background, those days are gone. I think AI, we're just at the dawn. We're just at the very, very start. In my business, in our head office, we've saved this year £120,000 of labour cost just by using AI. I think that's the magic formula to business. And the great thing is, if you get that into your head, you're at such an advantage because no one is willing to put in the graft. No one is willing to put in the time, the effort it takes. And if you are, you automatically put yourself ahead of the field. Unique selling point is bullshit. Don't do it. Don't even spend 1 second of your time trying to establish what your unique selling point is, because I guarantee you, whatever you think your unique selling point is, there will be 1,000 other businesses out there claiming the exact same thing.
It was business. It was never personal.
There is good room for being a nice guy. You have to be a nice guy, but you also have to develop a slightly ruthless edge when you're dealing with business.
All right, folks, welcome to your local entrepreneur podcast. It's 2026. You know what that means? That means new year, new me, new business, new money, hopefully. And today I thought I'd bring on the guy who will help me to get me the fastest way to a six-figure sum. We're not dilly-dallying around. We want to make some money this year. So I thought, who better than the boss? Mr. Ajmal Mushtaq joins us today.
Hello, Cameron. Nice to be here.
Business, money, cash, wonga, moolah.
Straight talking. Let's get to it.
All right, so let's kick in. It's 2026.
Yep.
Right? Things have changed. Okay, tell me about opportunities. What's on the horizon? What can we really, I want to say take advantage of, but what can we really dig into right now to make some serious cash?
Okay, so 2026 year is going to be the year of the intellect influencer. So see the days of being pretty or looking good and sitting beside a Lambo and Dubai in the background, those days are gone. The industry is now moving towards intellectual influencers. So I think that's a great move for me. That's great news for me because I consider myself one of those influencers. Not that I like to be called influencers. I just like talking about business and nothing else. I couldn't care less about the materialistic, the cosmetics, aesthetics. I couldn't care less about that. I'm here in London. I'm wearing a £20 watch. I'm really happy with that. And we're here talking about big business. So intellectual influencing is going to be big. AI is going to be big this year as well. But you've got to be careful. There's going to be a lot of AI scammers out there. So many. I was there 30 years ago at the start of the dot-com boom when the World Wide Web was born. In 1996, it started to infiltrate everyday society. And there was a lot of scams going around and it took a few years for it to get up and running. So plenty of opportunities, but one thing will never change. You still have to graft like you've never grafted before if you want to achieve even a little bit of success.
You know, I've seen, it's funny you say that actually, I saw the other day someone setting a course on AI prompting. I don't know if that's a thing, but you know, he's gone all in on it. And then I've also seen that there is an environment of online coursing and AI and how to jiggy-jag with it, but should we look at AI as really what it is? It's just a tool to be extra productive. Or should we just rely on it to actually take care of a part of our business?
I think it's a tool that can help make your job a lot easier. It's far, far too early to understand how it's really going to be implemented in business. So for my business, for example, in our head office, I've got people looking at AI. How can we make the processes simpler? And the good news is we're shaving time off, we're shaving money off, we're shaving a resource allocation off a lot of the tasks. But is it packaged in such a way that is easily implementable in other businesses and for your regular high street businesses? The answer is getting there, but it needs more time to mature.
Who do you think is going to lose out? I mean, there's a lot of talk about people going to lose jobs because of AI.
Yep.
Is there any in particular, any job roles that you think of that are going to just become redundant?
100%. A lot of the office-based jobs are going to lose out big time. That's not scaremongering. That's a fact. There was a time in the 1980s and late 70s where you would have rooms full, like halls full of mainly women, and they would be sitting typing out letters for big organizations. They were typists, and all of those hundreds of jobs within those four walls were taken over by one single computer. And that's exactly, I think, what's going to happen now. AI is going to be able to do many of these office-based jobs that we've got in every office up and down the country at the moment.
What about those other type of jobs which are usually considered secure? Things like accountants. I know somebody who uses ChatGPT as their own personal lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic that will be moving forward, but do you think those professional roles are they at risk?
I think maybe not 100% of their role, but I think certain elements of their role will be under risk. And is that not just going to make the businesses much more efficient? They could do more work with less people.
Yes, great for Mr. Businessman, people like us. We shave off, money on staff that we'd have and all the other things that come with it, the PAYE, the payroll, etc. But on the flip side, I'm looking down the chain now, there's a guy at the other end of it who's like, we can't find a job. Who should we blame? Those folks over there.
Yeah.
So the question is really, what happens to those people? It's about getting yourself skilled up now.
Yeah, the answer lies in history. When one industry dies, it gives rise to another industry. It makes way for a new industry. So many years ago, you had coal miners. That industry died down. Then you had the internet. All of these high street shops are going to close down and lose their jobs, and the people are going to lose their jobs. That happened, or is happening right now. But that has then given rise to delivery drivers. I mean, the whole country relies now on delivery drivers, all these DPDs and Everys and Royal Mail, etc. So as one industry dies, it gives rise to something new. And all these office-based jobs are dying out today, or could be dying out with AI, but it will give rise to something else. Let me give you another example. The internet came along, and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Yeah, but that gave rise to social media. And how many people are now working in social media marketing and data collection and all of these industries?
No, that definitely makes sense. So you could say that off the back of these things, there are little industries that will float out and other job roles.
Yeah.
That will float out.
Yeah. Not little, huge. Now look how big social media is now. I was there in 1996 when the internet was just about taking off. No one had the foresight, and no one could predict there would be such a thing called social media, and we're going to be taking photographs of our food, and we're going to be just posing. We're going to be taking 500 photographs of ourselves on a daily basis. No one predicted that, but then social media was born out of the internet. And I think something is going to be born out of this AI revolution, and no one knows yet what that is.
I've got a friend of mine, and he does use he says he uses AI a lot. And when I really went down to nitty gritty of what exactly do you do with it? And he's like, well, it helps me compose my emails. It helps me compose a letter if I want to apologize to my wife. And I was like, well, outside of ChatGPT, what can you do with AI? I mean, are we just using a % of what AI really is possible? What are there any practical features, functions, an AI model could come into play and make a difference to a business?
Yes, the answer lies again in history. I'm holding a phone. See, when the internet was born, it was just mainly the dialogue was around internet shopping and the high streets are going to die down. I'm just going to press this button twice on my phone. Right, watch this. 1, 2. That's what I need to do for Apple Pay, and I've paid a bill. No one back then could predict that the internet is going to evolve to the point where I'm sitting at home and I could just go like this, click, click, and I've paid an invoice for someone I owe money to. It's that easy. And in those days, I would have to sit and write a check, put it in an envelope, walk to the post box, and post it to people. But that's how much it's evolved. So I think AI, we're just at the dawn. We're we're just at the very, very start. And I think it's going to give rise to, a whole new way of living.
One final thing on there. A chappie I spoke to recently, he said he's probably saved the best part of about £30,000 off the back of using AI efficiently.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anything like that in your business?
In my business, in our head office, we've saved this year £120,000 of labour cost by using AI. And the way we've done it is we've used many different tools. It's been a bit loose-ended, but we have amalgamated the cost of that and we've saved £120,000. Now, going forward for 2026, we'll be looking to amalgamate those tools and develop our own tool and just implement that into our business where it's just streamlined.
There's one thing that kind of, I'll say concerns me, but I see it was tried and tested. One would have thought an automated shop could do everything. Walk in and you can make your payment. And to some extent, we have that when you go to I don't want to say that McDonald's shop, but yeah, you can go to McD's and make your order and pay, and then a guy just comes and serves you, all right? But then I know Amazon tried it. Amazon Fresh, I think it was. They had their system. We could walk in and one member of staff floated around. Do you ever think, or can you see shops going completely automated and where we have humans to really just
facilitate the...
Yeah, maybe a human might just be there to watch things unfold, I suppose.
Well, I just saw something just this week where you just take your shopping trolley and park it on top of this scale and it just automatically calculates everything that's in the ramp. So I think that the future is there's going to be less reliance on human interaction and more reliance on the technology that's available. And that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Okay, Ajmal, one of the things is, right, now, it's 2026, right, and I want to make some good money. And I'm sure the viewers back home, it's time for them to make bank, okay? And we want to make bank in the shortest possible period, right? So I'm thinking a week, I'm thinking a month. I want to start hitting 100K. I want 10K months. Go.
I'm not your man. Don't ask me. If you want to make millions of pounds in the shortest space of time, don't ask me. I'm not the man to ask. Because I simply don't know. The only formula that I know to make big money is hard graft for at least 18 months, 2 years. I'm over 50 years old. I don't know a single person, and I'm very well connected, I don't know a single person who's made big money by doing very little work.
Really?
Yes.
Nobody?
I don't know one single person. And I challenge you, do you know someone that's made big money by doing very little work?
Well, now that you mention it, there are a few ladies I've heard of that have done quite well on this app.
Right, okay.
Apart from them, selling feet pics and things like that.
Yeah.
Some people have made a pretty penny. Unfortunately, my feet, I don't think are purchasable. Yeah. So you're saying hard work and grind hard.
I think that is the magic formula to business. And the great thing is, if you get that into your head, you're at such an advantage because no one is willing to put in the graft. No one is willing to put in the time, the effort it takes. And if you are, you automatically put yourself ahead of the field.
I think the internet has been lying to me. I don't know. I saw a kid the other day, he must be, 21, nice car in Dubai. He has a little laptop. I saw some graphs. I thought, okay, this guy's making loads of money. He has a course. He has everything else. And he told me I could live that life if I signed up to him. But, I'm a pessimist. Do you reckon these things are true, Ajmal?
You should get him on this podcast and grill him. Listen, we know you can hire a Lambo. You can have the Dubai backdrop. You can have rent a big house. But, yeah, no, I don't know a single person that's made big money by doing very little. And if he was making money that good, the people that are genuinely making money, good money, they're not out there selling courses. They're too busy making the money to be actually selling courses. Can you just imagine this? Imagine you've got this business and it's doing really well and you're making millions of pounds, and you say, oh, no, wait, hold on a minute. Let me create a course over here to teach people how to make millions of pounds so I can charge them £20 a month or £50 a month. That's ridiculous, but that's exactly what's happening.
That does ring a bell, because I was looking at one of these things and I thought to myself, if he's made so much money doing X, whether it's Amazon, FBA or whatever it is, then if he's teaching everybody else, then isn't he just creating more of his own competition?
I don't know. I think there's money to be made in courses. That's a multi-billion-pound industry. So I think there is a certain naivety with people who think, they can buy a course for £49 and they're going to end up making millions of pounds.
What about life coaches? I'm seeing a lot of 20-year-old life coaches who have barely had a life, but somehow they're going to coach me, apparently.
The 21-year-old life coach?
Yeah, what's that all about? So I'm thinking, I saw wealth coaches and there's loads of other niche coaches. Do you think really people just want direction? Like deep down, it's really what they just want?
I think now people just want authenticity. Do they not just want to look at someone or follow someone, and if they detect that's a real, honest, authentic message, I think that's what's resonating with people nowadays. I think the whole 2010s Instagram, I'm going to follow you because you look great, or you've got a great body, or you drive a fancy car, or you're going on nice holidays, I'm going to follow you for the sake of being an influencer. I think those days are dying down.
Are we creating unrealistic expectations for a younger generation?
100%. I don't know, apart from me, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, apart from me, I don't know very many social media guys or business owners that are out there saying, business, don't bloody do it. It's too bloody difficult. You're going to fail. I don't know very many influencers. I don't know very many entrepreneurs that are actually saying that.
It kind of takes me to another question, mentorship.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen a lot about mentors.
Yeah.
Some successful people in their books have claimed, you should have a mentor. Wildly enough, somebody asked me to be their mentor, and I was like, nobody. I'm not that guy. I don't think I can mentor you right now. I don't think I have the social proof attached to it. But what do you think? Do you believe that someone to really grasp or have a successful business needs some level of a mentor physically they can dial into?
Yes. And the reason for that is, so I'm looking for a mentor for my business at the moment. And the reason I'm looking for is, it's not to provide the coaching, it's almost just to provide the guidance. Now, I do a lot of mentorship. I used to do even more. And I say to them, the path that you're walking on now, I've already walked down that path and I've already made the mistakes that you've still to make. Tap into my expertise, and that's what I'm looking for in my mentor. I've got a mentor, and he runs like a multi-unit franchise across the country, and I'm thinking, well, you've probably made mistakes in your journey that I've still to embark on. So why don't I just tap into your expertise and you can guide me? And he's doing that, and that's what I do with people who ask me to mentor them.
So when you were looking for a mentor, and I'm sure like the marketplace is littered with so many self-proclaimed gurus and mentors, so forth. Well, how did you, or what factors were you considering before you were like, okay, that's the guy I'm going to go with?
It's just in my network. He's got multi-unit franchises. He's got numerous brands. He's got a good reputation in the area, and I've known him for a few years. So that's just how it was. Just a natural evolution that I just asked him, and he's now my informal mentor.
And in the beginning, even for you, when you were on your kind of like your come up, your journey, did you have somebody that you were that mentored you in the beginning? Like, can you think of your earliest mentor in some shape or form that guided you?
No, I didn't. And I think the reason I'm a little bit unusual in the fact that I'm a business geek. I've loved the game of business from my teenage years. When I used to read the Sunday Times business section or the business news, I'm always drilling down into the facts and figures and the percentages and the net profit, gross turnover. I'm just like a business geek. What makes a business successful, and why do some businesses fail, other businesses fly? So I'm just naturally very immersed in the whole business knowledge. So I just found it quite easy.
So as a founder, somebody who's gone out there, ventured into the world, made what I'd say is a pretty successful business.
Yep.
what would you say for any founder? Like, what would be their 3 skill sets that they need to master before going out into the world?
You need to have an incredibly strong work ethic, because you're going to have to work harder than you've ever worked in your life.
There's that word again.
Yeah. And it's a word that no one wants to hear. Next, you've got to be persistent. You are going to be stressed on a level that you've never been stressed before. You're going to be carrying this weight of stress with you 24/7, even when you're sleeping. And then thirdly, you're going to have to grow a thick skin, because people are going to come at you the minute you start to get successful.
You know, there's a clip from The Godfather. I'm sure you've
Right.
seen it, right? And you must know the part where there's that guy who wants to introduce drugs into his market, and they ask the Mr. Don Corleone, I want you and your contacts to get involved. And he says, nope, not doing that. And obviously, you know what happens? They go out, ping, ping. And then there's a bit during that part where the other gentleman was like, it was business. It was never personal. And do you ever have those moments, or not obviously that drastic, but do you ever have moments of skullduggery, moments where somebody did something which you might consider unethical,
Yep.
but their whole perception was, well, this is business, Ajmal.
Yeah, and it's a dirty business. And no matter how great you are, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is you might be totally clean-hearted, good-intentioned, but what you'll very quickly realise out there in the real world, people don't think like you. You know, if they can screw you over or get one over on you or not pay a bill at the first opportunity, they'll do that. So it's a horrible, horrible, nasty environment to be operating in, because not everyone thinks and operates like you.
So there's no room for Mr. Nice Guy.
No, there is good room for being a nice guy. You have to be a nice guy, but you also have to develop a slightly ruthless edge when you're dealing with business operators.
So do you reckon one should become a little bit ruthless, a tinge of ruthless?
You have to be,
required?
otherwise you will get walked over. People are just going to walk right over you and take advantage of you. You've got to show that you're a very good, nice, good-natured operator, but you've also got to show that there is a ruthless business side to you, that if you cross a line, your business is, that business relationship could potentially end.
How have you ever had to, or how have you developed this? I don't know how you would say this. Like, how would you develop almost like this third eye, or prevent being taken advantage of?
Circumstances will teach you very, very quickly. If you're a nice guy, it's not something you can learn from a book. When someone stabs you in the back, you very quickly realise the pain that causes, and then that forces you to change your behaviours. Up until that point, you'll carry on being a nice guy.
One thing I'm really hot on at the moment, actually, with my business is using contracts and agreements.
Yep.
Because I always feel as if, like, we can always go back to that
Yep.
afterwards. And I think in the early stages, I got burnt a lot because I didn't have those in place.
Yeah.
So then when you have no contracts, you have no agreements, so then you're fair game for whatever the rules dictate against you, I guess.
That's a great point. Any up-and-coming business owner, I guarantee you're going to think, it's going to cost £1,000 to engage the solicitors and get a contract. That's too much money. That's not too much money, because that's going to protect your interest and your business. So now what we do is we make sure absolutely everything is done through the solicitors. And the minute there's any deviation from the contract, I don't even get involved in discussions. The solicitor gets involved in discussions.
Now, look, obviously, as a founder, and you've told us that hard work is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fair to say I've seen you really put the work in.
Yep.
You're all over all my social channels,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm sure I'm even missing some things out. How are you doing all of that and running the business and all the other operations that go in? Or are you a delegation person?
Well, I've got a good team behind me, so that helps. But in the early days, I was doing it all myself, and you have to just put in the effort. But the good thing about what I do is I love what I do. I love talking about business. This podcast could go on for 20 hours. I'll happily sit here and talk about business for 20 hours. So that's just something that I'm really naturally very interested and passionate about. So I don't regard talking about business as an effort or as work. So I find it really easy.
What do you say to that person, right, they're really good at what they do? For example, I don't know, they make the best cakes, or they've developed a piece of software which would change the world, but they lack salesmanship. They don't really have the jazz and so forth. What would you say to that person who may be a little bit introverted, actually?
Yeah.
Who doesn't have capital to hire salespeople and hire a sales team? What advice would you give that chap or gal on how to boost sales, to be a better salesperson?
You have got to spend half of your time sharpening up your business and your sales and marketing skills. To this day, I spend 50% of my time marketing the business and focusing on sales and marketing. That's it. And every business operator, if you're serious about growing your business, you have to really hone in on the sales and marketing. And you, as the business owner, even if you're a little bit introverted and shy, you carry more weight. Your word carries more weight than any other salesman can. So I would really focus on spending the maximum amount of time focusing on sales and marketing.
Can we delve a bit more into
let's
the
do that.
sales and marketing partner?
Yeah.
Okay, so sales, for example. Okay, Chappie, are we saying to him, here's a book, go get yourself accustomed to it? Or do you have any practical steps for an introverted person to become a better salesperson?
I think sales is actually very easy. Sales is incredibly easy regardless of your personality or your characteristics. And the reason is, if you're selling a product that you really believe in and you know deep down in your heart that it's actually the best product that you can produce, selling that would be easy. And selling shouldn't be, it's not the hard car salesman type of tactics that work. So for us, when we're selling franchising, we're not selling franchising. We've flipped it. We're actually recruiting franchisees. And the minute we flip to the narrative, so we're not selling, we're actually recruiting you. Are you good enough to work for the brand? The minute you flip it, it changes the dynamic of sales. No one likes a pushy, hard-nosed salesman where you feel you're being pressured into a sale. For me, that's not sales at all. It should be pleasure. Buying something should be a pleasure. It shouldn't feel like, oh gosh, I've been pressured into this.
No, you're right, because like everybody goes to those kind of like Wolf of Wall Street cliches and always be closing, and you're supposed to be really jazzy and confident.
No, that's not the way it works. The way it works, you whatever it is, you sell the features of the product, you sell the benefits of the product, and you really hone in on those authentically, and then you let your potential customers decide if they want to buy it or not. No one likes a hard sell. Those tactics don't work anymore.
Can I tell you something? I think I got sucked into a sales once. I remember I was in Canada at a chocolate shop, and I picked up a product. I was just looking at it actually, and the salesman walked behind me, and he was like, "Excellent choice." Really? And then we had a bit of a dialogue. I ended up buying it actually, but I think he was just stroking my ego a little bit.
Right.
But as an opener, I quite like that. Rather than, "Hi sir, how can I help?" Because I would say, "No, I'm all right, thank you very much." But I find a good opener, a good engaging opener, isn't pushy, like you said. Isn't very like, "How can I help you? What are you looking for?" Because that's what we I think initially when I worked in retail, it was very much customer walks in, you say to them, "Oh, hi there, how can I help?" And customer says, "I'm all right, thank you very much."
Yeah.
Do you have any openers that you use back in the day, or maybe you use right now?
My number one rule of sales is don't try and sell anything. So I'm in the pizza franchise business. If anyone comes for a franchise, my number one objective is to try and put them off. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm saying it's going to be hard. You're going to struggle. The sales are going to be low for the first 18 months. I don't think you've got the appetite for it. I don't think you've got the persistence for it. My job is to put them off as much as possible. That's our starting point. Then if they come back at us and say, "No, definitely want it, then we engage in a dialogue. Then we start interviewing them a bit more and do quite a lot of interview. So we actually don't sell. We flip the narrative and we try and recruit them instead. So we almost turn that sales process into like a job interview.
But do you think you're almost challenging them?
Yeah,
that's the tone I'm getting from it. It's almost like a challenge.
Yeah. I don't want, and we've made this mistake. I've had a couple of shop closures in the early days. We made the mistake of believing people when they tell us, oh, they're X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. Now what we do is, so my job now is to make sure that people know this is not an easy gig. See this face that you see in social media? It counts for nothing if you can't deliver to your own customers. So for example, if Cameron opens up Boss Pizza in central London, and he thinks, oh, I've got Ajmal's backing. Everyone knows Ajmal, and Boss Pizza's all over the place. I'm going to use that. That counts for nothing. If you get a customer, he's ordered from you, and it takes 1.5 hours for you to deliver the food to him, and it arrives cold and late. He doesn't care about me, my brand. All he cares about is he's tried this brand. It's failed to satisfy my needs for the night. I'm never using them again. So business is really that simple. So I wouldn't. My back to your point. My aim is to try and discourage people as much as possible, so they get the most realistic picture, and that's what's authentic, and that's what they like.
So now with your marketing hat, where did you learn all the things that you've learned about marketing? Because you, like I said, you're everywhere. So one would assume that did you cause your background, I think, remember, is in consultancy, right?
Management consultancy.
Yeah. So like, how does a management consultant chap become like a prolific viral marketer?
I think I say this thing all the time. There is no point doing a good job if no one knows about it. And this goes back to a time when I was working in the city for the management consultancy, right? I got passed up in promotion. There were two of us, two colleagues. We had the same problem, colleague one and me, right? Colleague one had the problem, and he made such a big deal of it. And he was on the meetings with managers. We've got this issue. We don't know what to do with it. Anyway, fast forward 3 weeks, he's managed to resolve it. Great. I had the same issue. You know what I did? I kept my head down, and I fixed the issue, and I got on with my work. Then when it came for promotion, colleague one, he's a really good problem solver. And at that point, I realised we actually solved the same problem. He made the noise. I didn't make the noise. I got passed over. He got promoted. So from that, I realised there's no point in doing a good job if no one knows about it, right? So that is the central point of all of my businesses. I make sure we market as much as possible. We tell them quick, we tell them often, and we tell them using as many different marketing channels as possible. And marketing is as simple as that.
So when you started off, before post number 1 went on your TikTok, for example, beforehand, did you already pre-plan, okay, I'm going to be on TikTok, I'm going to do all these things? And then, how did you action that? Just got with it with your phone, or did you hiring people?
This is a great topic of conversation. You see me now on social media, on all the platforms. 15 years ago, I was writing for every single business publication. I was writing for the Just Eat magazine, the Hungry House magazine, the Masala magazine, all the trade publications. I was appearing in news interviews. I was talking about business back then. But the platform of the day was magazines and newspapers. Fast forward 10, 15 years, I'm still talking about the same thing, but the vehicle is TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. Fast forward another 10 years, it might be the new AI tools of 2035. I don't know, but I'll still be talking about the exact same things. So for me to fall into TikTok, it was just an extension of something I was already doing. I was already talking about business, but instead of me writing, I'm now talking to camera.
No, but I think when you do events or when you're doing articles, for example, you could really delve into topics and really go into it. But then TikTok came around and it's like, okay, you've got 30 seconds or 1 minute.
Yeah.
How hard was it then as a person of detail to now squash that right in?
Very, very easy. And the reason being, TikTok perfectly suits my style. You know me, I don't add in filler words. I don't pad things out. My objective is I'm short, sharp, to the point. and I can deliver my business message in 30 seconds, that suits me perfectly. I love that because that's an exact reflection of my personality and the way I deliver my content. So it landed, TikTok landed perfectly for me. I love the format.
Was it easy for you to start your first video?
Yeah. And the reason is because I was talking about something that I'm already an expert in. I'm talking about something that I've already been talking about for years. So for me to talk about business isn't difficult. It's just something I'm already really passionate and involved in.
So what do you say to that person who is always playing with the idea? I'll make a video. I'll do it. I'll talk to the camera one day. What do you say to that person who's neglectful and isn't breaking through now and just making that video?
Just bloody do it. Pick up the phone, point it at yourself and start filming and put it out on social media. And I can guarantee you one thing, the big mistake you can make is you're trying to judge the content. That's the big mistake. Put that rubbish content that you think is rubbish, put it out there and let the world decide. I've put out videos where we've crafted it beautifully, nice background, nice backdrop, nice lighting, really good sound. Put it out. This is a really good video. Flops. Then other videos where I've just picked up the phone, filmed something for 30 seconds, put it out, boom, millions of views. So you be the judge, let the audience decide.
But what if the judges in our circle are like, yo, bro, I saw you doing that video. What, you're like some sort of influencer now?
Yeah.
What happens when you start getting some of that?
You will get that. Get used to it because you're going to get that for the rest of your life. See, the minute you get successful, you get all those negative vibes. When you become even more successful, you get even more. But then it gets to a point when you've made it, then everyone quietens down.
Do you ever look at someone else's content and was like, oh my God, that looks amazing? And then do you ever start, I know I've seen this before as well. I've done it before. When I've made content and I see someone else's, I thought, that looks great. Then you almost quiet yourself down. You think, I can't even release something of that caliber of production.
But you should do what you can do. And the one thing, genuine people out there, they'll respect you for putting out your authentic content. See, if I see a video and it's maybe not got the views, if they're trying, huge respect to you.
I've noticed I don't think you follow anybody on your social pages.
No.
But is there anyone or any creators, influencers, or business folk that you actually do kind of follow, and you maybe might recommend someone or say, look, here's a good, if you want to know about X, check out Y?
I think there's a couple of guys, and that would be Gary V in Americas. Obviously, he's been around for years. I like his stuff. Alex Hermosi. Again, these guys have made it, and they're just sharing their lessons, and that I like that. So that's the type of content I like.
Gotcha. And who breaks down the ideas for you? Do you have social content days, or are you just doing everything ad hoc?
Ad hoc.
Everything
it could come to my mind, and it could be the most viral video ever. And thing is, I'm blessed in the fact that I've got 4 or 5 years experience working in family business. I've got 5 years of university experience where I learnt so much in 3 business degrees that I did: law and masters in international finance, masters in accountancy. Then I worked in London for the best part of a decade in the corporate environment as a management consultant. Then I've run my own business for nearly 15 years. And I've enjoyed tremendous success along the way. And in that, let me rewind. I've enjoyed tremendous success, and I've also endured a lot of pain during the way. And I think the sum of all of those years gives me enough content. Like, you give me any topic in the world and I can share great stories about it.
How long would you give an idea? Like, if let's say you have a business in mind, you want to go ahead with it, and everyone's a bit unsure whether it's going to work or not. But how long do you give something until you pull the plug and think this is not working out?
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years.
Nothing happens in the first year of your business. You look at any successful business in the world, nothing happens for the first year. Look at Facebook, for example. You might see this video on Facebook. Nothing happened on Facebook. It took 7 years for them, approximately 7 years for them to make some money. and just generally so many businesses that I've seen, including my own. We made nothing for the first year, 18 months. That's happened to me 3 times. I've opened up 3 separate businesses in the last 15 years, and each time it took at least 18 months just to get the momentum. And prior to that, and what I see on a daily basis, people try something for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and they say, "Oh no, it's not working." They give up.
Yeah, but I mean, here we are. But imagine like shoveling money into something, which is not really feeding you back quite as quickly as you'd hope for.
Yeah.
So
many people make that mistake of pulling out, or sort of giving up far too quickly within 6 months, a year. Far too many people do that. But before you even get started with a business, understand it's a long, painful, expensive, emotionally draining journey. And if you're not set up for that from the start, don't even consider doing business. Stick to your job.
They've made entrepreneurship so super sexy now.
Oh, yeah.
And, just over broke and come on, bro, you could be on a beach right now instead of sitting at home in London or going to your job. So what do you think? Should people become, I won't say obsessed with starting their own business, but do you think it's for everyone?
There's one entrepreneur out there, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's a really nice guy, Simon Squibb. You must have heard of him.
Oh, I do. Yeah. I've seen his stuff. What's your dream?
Yeah. Running your own business or entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Can you imagine if everyone's out there running their own business and following their dream? Who's going to be doing driving the ambulances? Who's going to be the police officers? Who's going to be the plumbers, the electricians? Entrepreneurship is incredibly, incredibly difficult. And I suppose one of the reasons why my content resonates so well is because I just say the truth. It's so much more difficult than you can believe. And you're right, the internet has really super sexed entrepreneurship up, where it's almost like this is the only option. You've got to do this. But the reality is it's going to drain you financially, physically, and emotionally. And not very many people are set up for that.
Dear me. So do you reckon your time on the hills of Scotland just made you a hard guy, basically?
just grafting on the front line and understanding, because I've been through it. 3 times I've been through it, where I've built a business. I appreciate how much effort is required to get customers to buy from you. And customers never go into a business feeling entitled. Let's say, for example, Cameron makes the best cupcakes in the world. Why should anyone who's been buying cupcakes from another shop for the last 15 years, why should they even think of buying from you? What gives you the right? You've got to earn the right by turning up day in, day out for years. And remember, customers aren't going to hear about Cameron's cupcakes and come running. They might hear about them, and then they might hear about it again 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times later. 4 years down the line, they might or might not consider to come to your shop. That's the reality of running a business. It takes about 11 interactions over a period of years for people to think, oh yeah, I might try that.
I saw something the other day, I think it was on Dragon's Den, an old one. And I saw a familiar setup. And I've seen other people try and talk like dragons also. And it's like, you pitch your business idea and it's like, well, what's your USP? What makes you different to X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, well, technically a lot of companies are the same. There are no unique USPs. But, I mean, is USP a pile of gobbledygook, or is it something you really need to have? You're going to go out there, son. You need to have a unique selling point.
My take on this is a little bit controversial, and I've not heard anyone else say it. Unique selling point is bullshit. Don't do it. Don't even spend 1 second of your time trying to establish what your unique selling point is, because I guarantee you, whatever you think your unique selling point is, there will be 1,000 other businesses out there claiming the exact same thing. Let me give you an example. So, my first business, I was in the Indian food market. We make our fresh, authentic recipes, homemade recipes using fresh ingredients. Every other bloody Indian restaurant in the country can claim that. Imagine you're an estate agent. What are you doing? You're selling houses. Cameron's estate agent. What on earth are you doing different to the 1,000 other estate agencies out there? The way You look at things as unique selling point is bullshit, but the way you separate your business from everyone else is you take every single customer touch point and just make your experience that much better. So your business is so much better across the road. That's how, across the board, that's how you win in business.
Do you think, like when companies want to scale up and they need more cash, or they think they've got a great idea, and they head off to an investor and like, yo, I need £1 million for my business. And Mr. Investor is like, well, I want half of your business in equity in XYZ. Do you see, like, because I used to look at these things and think to myself, well, this guy just gave up a quarter of his business. So from being 100% shareholder, he's now just he might majority, he might be half, whatever it is now. Do you think those things are necessary, or do you reckon you can just go out on your own and make it happen?
I think people are seduced into growth far too easily and far too quickly. There is nothing wrong with growing your business slowly and steadily to the point where you need to take on investors or expand organically. And the one big thing I see is people taking on too much debt. Taking on a loan for your business is the easiest thing in the world. Paying off that loan penny by penny while running everything else in your business is very, very difficult. So for my businesses, we don't take on any debt. And I've been criticised for the speed of growth. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. And see, when it's slow, that's okay, because we don't have any debt. And that's my old-fashioned way of growing a business. Just slow and steadily, working within your means and operating within your means. It's a much safer bet long-term.
Do people pitch their ideas to you?
I get approached all the time.
Any wild ideas?
I don't even entertain them.
No, not even at all?
No, because I am focused. I'm only going to do one thing, and that is my business, Boss Pizza. One arrow cannot hit two targets. I do not want to get distracted with anything else.
Do you have moments where you think that would be a good business, actually?
Yeah, the grass is always greener. There's always so many great opportunities, but from my experience, again, I'm over 50 years old. From my experience, the grass is very rarely greener. The grass is greener where you water it.
Yeah. To tell me, did you ever have times in your business where you thought, this sucks, I'm not doing this anymore, in fact, I'm sick of it, let's pull the bloody plug?
Yeah. Every single day. Every single bloody day, there is some headache, challenge, issues that you think, why am I taking this on? And that is the nature of entrepreneurship. And see, if you get good at building that thick skin, that persistence, resilience, that's going to stand you in good stead. Running a business, you're going to get punched in the face 1 million times a day. That's what it feels like. It's like 95% of my time is just dealing with issues, headaches, challenges, people issues, people not paying their bills, always some headache. And 5% is, oh, that's been a really good day. Oh, that was good, guys, wasn't it? That's the breakdown. 95% nonsense, 5% happiness.
So the second part, have you ever thought about just jacking it all in and just going back to work?
Yeah, that's happened as well. I think, why am I putting myself through this? And it is, entrepreneurship is very, very difficult. And that's an interesting point. Entrepreneurship versus working in a job. Working in a job is 1 million times easier. 1 million times easier. And I'm speaking from experience. I've worked in corporate job, top tier in London for the best part of a decade. And I've run my own businesses. Running your own business. Forget about evenings off. You don't have the weekend off. You don't have holidays. You're working Christmas. You're working birthdays. You're working weddings. There is no off switch. So entrepreneurship is much more difficult.
Are you a big book reader?
Yes, only business books. I don't read fiction.
Okay. Any recommendations, you think?
Yes.
Like, go out there this year and buy these books from Amazon.
Yeah. In your journey of entrepreneurship, you will not have the time to make too many mistakes. So there's a great book. One of my favorite books is a book called Brand Failures by Matt Haig. Now, the examples in this book are a little bit older, like Kodak and Ford and all of these companies that made big mistakes back in the day. But the principles of those lessons are exactly the same. So for me, that's one of the best books ever because you're learning from other people's mistakes.
Any other recommendations, or just that? Is that the holy grail? That only that one? Or?
If you're in the customer service space, retail space, I would say another great book is My Sister's a Barista. That's the Starbucks story of how they started. They made the third place. Everything was done in threes. There was 3 founders. Coffee was the third place. And there are so many instances where they use the principle of 3. So that was really interesting. So that really helped my first business as well.
Not all of us are book readers, actually, Ajmal. Some of us like to visually see these things. Some of us prefer movies. Any business movies that you think, you know what, that's actually not a bad movie to catch up on?
Business movies, I think, The Big Short, I watched that a couple of weeks ago. That was the .com, that was a financial crash. Recently, subprime mortgages, that was interesting.
Have you seen BlackBerry, by the way?
BlackBerry's another good one.
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
I love that film.
It's just amazing how fickle business is. 1 minute you're up here, the next minute you're rock bottom, the day after you could be sky high again. And that is the nature of entrepreneurship. That Nokia done. We've got an iPhone. We've got an iPhone.
I've got an iPhone.
Imagine the day, and it's
Mac.
It's going to happen very quickly. Imagine the day when we're looking back at this and think, Cameron, we used to use these things to communicate. I can't believe it. That's so out of date. See the original BT Cellnet phones, the big plastic. I've still got that in here in my London flat. Whenever I open my cupboard, I see it, and I like to keep it because in those days that was the height of technology. I thought, wow, that's amazing. I can text, I can phone from wherever I am. This is going back to the mid-90s. Fast forward to BlackBerry or Nokia. But fast forward a few years from now, imagine what the world's going to look like when we look back and think, bloody hell, I can't believe we used to use this thing.
Correct. Part in that film I really enjoyed, and it actually gave me some insight as well. I don't know if you remember, there's a bit where the corporate guy enters his new the BlackBerry space with these geeks, and they find out about this phone that they're working on as an email machine.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Where is it? Can I see it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not ready yet." And he was like, "I've got a meeting coming up. We're going to meet the heads of AT&T.
Yeah.
Give me something. Give me anything. Just give me a piece of shit if it has to be.
Yeah.
But give me something." And what I saw was that engineer who was putting it all together, the other owner, he was all about the details. It's not ready yet. I want to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And it really procrastinated or put him way back then as far as he had to go. But then Mr. Businessman grabs this thing, sends it to a meeting. And that's where I learned the acronym of, is it an acronym? Minimal viable product.
Yeah.
Just anything, get it out there. So give me a little bit on the paralysis by analysis phase that I think we all go through.
Yeah, you've got to. That's a great term, paralysis by analysis. Yeah, if you've got a product, just get going with it, and very quickly the market will react and give you feedback, and you can tailor it accordingly. And I've made that mistake. Now you might see me on TikTok today, right? When we first started out, we created all of the content up front. Like 6 months worth of content. We spent like 2 months on it. And then when we posted it, it flopped. Because it just didn't hit the right notes. And then what we did is we just started posting organically. Oh, that one really popped. That one really kicked off. Right, we'll do more of that. So sometimes you're right. You can end up doing too much analysis and too much in the detail. Just get going and figure it out along the way.
This is one of the things I found, and I don't know if you agree with it or not, but almost like, the folks who are quite well educated. I mean, I don't know if it offends anybody, but we're going to have to throw it out there. Just grow some thick skin, okay? I find the ones who are really highly educated are the ones who delve far too much into analysis. If this goes wrong, well, that's going to happen, and that happens, and this happens. And then I find the guys who, I mean, let's face it, they're not very well educated.
Yeah.
But they are very active. An idea pops, they go through with it. The risk factors, I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So do you think sometimes our education has just made us become so risk averse or fearful about going forward with this idea because of all the things that could go wrong?
Yes. And I could give you a perfect example. So we've got, I know there's someone in my circles I give advice to. They're in the hot food business, and they're very well educated, and they're really going into the detail, to a level of detail that is just insane. And I said, you don't need to operate at that level. And I said, there's someone out there in your city, he's not educated, he doesn't really know the language, but he's kicking your ass just by delivering good food and delivering it on time. They're just doing the practical. Whereas over here with your wonderful education, you're doing all this data analysis. This guy doesn't even know how to spell the word data and he's kicking your ass. And over here, you're trying to analyze thousands of lines of data and trying to come up with some really clever stuff. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes not having the right education or all the skill set is actually an advantage because you just get on with it and figure it out along the way.
Speaking of movies, there was one movie which, was it controversial? I don't know. It was called The Founder.
Yep.
The Michael Keaton one
Yep.
with McDonald's, all right?
McDonald's story, yeah.
Now, there's a bit of a split opinion on here. A lot of people I've spoken to were like, Ray Kroc is a piece of shit for what he did to those two brothers. He stole their idea, took their business away from them, and he just, gave them something at the end of it. Who knows how much he gave them compared to what it's worth now. But the question is, was he a good guy or is he just a ruthless POS?
No, I think there's got to be some real business acumen there. You've taken a good idea and you've rolled it out across the world to a point where school kids, 16, 17-year-olds can run the most effective, efficient restaurant in the world. So I've got a lot of respect for the systems and the processes. So I think I'm in that school of thought there.
Do you think what he did was an example of the ruthless end of business?
I think you have to be ruthless because you know why? Customers are unforgiving. If you miss the mark once by 1%, that's enough to tick off a customer and they'll never use you and they'll criticize you nonstop. So there has to be that element when it comes to business.
Okay, so we're all getting ready. It's 2026. A lot of what Rachel Reeves has proposed will be coming into full effect. Does it? I mean, I don't know if this is a tinfoil hat moment, but like, are the government really out there to purposely screw over business owners? Are they even interested whether or not you flourish? Because it just feels as if all the cards are actually being stacked against you, and every year there's more cards, there's more cost.
Yep.
So we're in 2026 now. How do we prepare ourselves for this environment?
It's very difficult. I think what the governments need to do, if you're putting someone in charge, you need to put someone in charge who's got the basic understanding and the basic skill set. So if you're Chancellor of the Exchequer, you've got to at least have business experience. You've got to know about the basic of economics in the real world, not just at university level. And I think this government just don't understand how difficult it is running a business or succeeding in business. And it's no wonder because there's so many people leaving the country now and there's so many business failures and the government are just failing to address the plight of all the business owners in the UK.
I mean, I'd consider you one of those top guys out there who's a healthy bit of cash in the bank. Are you tempted to whisk yourself off to Dubai and live that life?
No, doesn't appeal to me.
Not at all.
I'm happy here in Britain. I think
really
it's a great. I think it's a great country. Yes, in the last couple of years we've had the cost of living crisis. The politicians seem to be more and more disconnected with reality. But I think there is an opportunity to turn things around.
Okay, let's say you're business secretary, right? Tomorrow you start your post as a business secretary.
Yeah.
What changes do you think we really need, or what changes would you make that will help business flourish?
I would look at government spending and make that as efficient as possible. Then I would actually reduce. I would just scrap business rates altogether, and I would reduce the VAT. And I would look to every single opportunity to reduce the amount of taxation. It's just got to the point now, Kamran. It's just ridiculous. And these politicians, they come up with a good idea. For example, let's put a climate change levy on. So businesses have to pay more through their utility bills. That's a good idea. Then someone else comes along and say, oh yeah, let's increase business rates by 0.3%. Oh, that's a good idea because that's going to raise £4 billion for the coffers. Someone else 3 years later comes along and says, why don't we increase this tax by 0.3%? All of these ideas in isolation are great ideas, but over a period of time, they've just increased this. All of this taxation has now got to the point it's just crippling businesses.
Business rates are suffocating people.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're seeing more empty high roads, high streets,
Yeah.
because business rates are suffocating the
Yeah.
life out of companies and
Yeah.
businesses. So where does that leave things? I mean, like, let's say we're looking 10 years ahead now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a guy who runs an optician's business from home.
Yeah.
And it's a very at-home service he can travel to if he has to, because he was simply like, Cameron, I am not prepared to pay the kind of money it is to be on the high street.
Yeah.
So do you think if the high street dies, what happens? Do we go completely online with everything?
You know what? 15 years ago, 10 years ago, for one of my businesses, I had 60 people working in one of my businesses. I would recruit left, right, centre. I would invest in the people, do this. But then over the years, the government have just made it more and more and more difficult to actually operate a business, to the point now where if I'm taking even one person on, I'm thinking like 100 times, do we absolutely need this person on board? And I'll think 1,000 times before we're taking them on. Whereas back in the days when it was a bit easier to do business, yeah, let's bring them on, no problem. Let's bring 10 people on, right? Let's build a new team for this part of the business. Let's just do it. Whereas now, even me, with all my business skill and acumen, even me, I'm like hyper cautious.
I find like I do feel bad for our students of today because they've come out into a world where there's barely any work out for them. Now, let's say you are that guy, you know, you did your 3 years at university, you've come out with a degree, you're ready to take on the world, and you're being followed with rejection after rejection after rejection. What does this kid do in today's climate?
It's difficult. I think it all goes back down to the economy. Businesses that aren't recruiting because they have been suffocated. They've been shafted by government after government. So there's no profit left for businesses for them to take on. And then all of the regulation, the PAYE, the national insurance contributions, the regulations, the red tape, all of it, just the sum of all of it just makes it so unattractive to take on people. And then the minimum wage as well for youngsters now has gone up to nearly like £8. No one's going to recruit young people. I would rather recruit someone a bit older with experience rather than recruiting a youngster now, because the wage is there or thereabouts. I would rather just pay a little bit more and just get someone with experience.
So what do you do now if you're in the eyes of that young guy? What does he do?
I have no idea. Upskill yourself in IT and AI. These are the basic tools in video and content creation. Video editing, content creation, photography, graphic design, AI. This is going to be the future. And you could be looking to, if you're good at these things, you could start approaching businesses and doing their content creation for them, because that's the future.
There's something we're thinking about for the future. I want to know your opinion on this. Right? Okay, so I don't know if you're aware of the metaverse.
Yeah.
The virtual world, where apparently we're going to be putting our goggles on and we're dialing in and we're going to be in this virtual world, this virtual space.
Yeah.
Where they've got digital real estate out there already.
Yeah.
I've heard claims of people buying amounts of money on this already. Do you see in 10 years' time, because it hasn't really taken off the way it was supposed to, but do you see it actually becoming something where, you know, we might see a Boss Pizza ad in our metaverse?
It could happen. Listen, advertising spend goes wherever there's attention. So wherever there is going to be attention, you can be pretty certain that I'll be putting marketing spend in that space.
But it's interesting because I remember before there was a price on a website, which if a website had a lot of visitors, you could plug your business there, and that was digital real estate, which is worth something. So do you think the metaverse is actually something to take seriously? I'm
not sure, because it was quite big a couple of years ago. It seems to have...
It's not.
It's lost momentum.
But I think the one thing that I've noticed, it struck me last week actually, Roblox.
Yep.
Right? It's a kid's game. Mm-hmm. They're in it. I don't know if you know any kids who play Roblox.
Yep.
Very addictive.
Yep.
Right? Now these kids are 10 years old, 11 years old right now playing it. Some are 6 years old playing it.
Yeah.
do you see them now as they grow up and now they're 18, 19, 20? Do you think they'll become accustomed to a virtual world?
You know, it could happen. It could happen. I've got youngsters working for me. They are so tech savvy. They know all the shortcuts and drives and this links. They're absolutely amazing at sort of running all the IT stuff. And if that happened 10 years ago, that person, if I had someone working for me with that level of skill set, they would be regarded as like a super geek. Wow, that's amazing. But now all the youngsters, they can do all of that. So I think they're setting themselves up for whatever the future holds. I think if they're doing all of that, they're setting themselves up for, you know. So,
well, do you ever think, right, that the outside world becomes like, imagine the virtual world is so super sexy and beautiful.
yeah.
And then we look at the outside world and it's like, this is garbage. And then we just cocoon ourselves into the virtual world.
I think the opposite is happening. Something like that is happening already. Like whenever we're on social media, migrant boats, the economy's down.
Streets.
Yeah, it's Islam's taking over. It's just like there's no money. There's so much poverty. Yes, all of that's true. But then when you step out into the real world, everyone's just quite happy and getting on with it.
They really are. Honestly, you know, one thing I found, if you look at social media comments,
Yeah.
you'd think the English are all racist and everyone's having a go at
Yeah,
us. But I tell you something, right? You meet some wonderful people out there.
Yeah.
I remember we was at an airport, Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
You have to put a bloody £1 into the thing, and we
Yeah.
all forgot our change. We got no change.
Yeah.
And my mum went up to a random old white guy and was like, "I've got a note. Can you give me something for the thing?" He goes, "Don't worry about love, and just take it." He gave £1 over
Yeah.
for nothing. And my mum, in her thing and all Pakistani in her broken English. And you'd have thought that, you know, if you judge everything by comments, he would have been, "Nah, mate, reform, get out of here."
Yeah.
But super nice. He goes, "No, I take that, keep it, it's no problem."
Yeah, it's actually quite poisonous what's happening at the moment. You know,
Massively.
because you're on social media and at night time you're thinking, bloody hell, the country's gone proper south. You know, things have really gone downhill.
But you know what it is? The reality of it is, right? It's a glimpse. It's literally like, it's such a minority because the minority are the loudest.
Yeah.
They are the guys on the computer, fucking migrants, and fucking,
Yeah,
you know. And I've mentioned the really smart, intelligent folk who really are against all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They're not commenting.
Oh, huge respect to the guy in India who's making £250,000, suckering in all of these reform voters. They're putting out all this he's an Hindu guy in India. He's about 22 years old. Yeah. He's actually cracked it. He knows that if he puts out all this reform type content, anti-Islam comment, he's actually cashing in on it big time because that's proper bait.
Marketing, right, to racists, I think is the most easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It really has to be. I mean,
this guy's 22-year-old's making $250,000.
I know.
That's crazy.
Know. Sometimes my religion holds me so far back.
Yeah.
And my morals.
Yeah.
And my ethics. But I tell you something now, if I had none of those,
Yeah.
I think we'd kill it.
Do you know what we should do? After this podcast, why don't we start some campaigns and you want to make £10,000 a month? Let's do it. Start some anti-Islam campaigns and pages and all that, and we'll be able to get advertising spent.
We're cancelling Christmas. They want to build a mosque.
Yeah,
in Parliament.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, let's talk about that. Right, I'm a Muslim, right? You're a Muslim as well. The Muslims want to cancel Christmas. They don't want Christmas carols. They don't want Christmas trees. I can guarantee you don't know a single Muslim that wants Christmas cancelled or is offended by Christmas trees or doesn't want Christmas carols being sung on their local pavement. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Bro, like my kids are in nativity plays.
Yeah, exactly.
And no one stopped anyone's kids.
Exactly.
I've seen niqabis in the audience watching their child.
Yeah, exactly.
Being, you know, star number 3 or something, or wise man number 3.
Yeah.
Do you think parents right now should be arming or skilling up their children at a certain age from now to learn new skills, new things? I mean, I know in some schools, as young as 10 years old, they're teaching them basic level of programming, basic level of computer skill.
Yeah.
Do you recommend anything as a parent? Say, listen, your kid is 10 years old. It might be worthwhile dialing him into certain things that you need to.
I encourage my kids to be on tech as much as possible because that is the future. Tech is not going to get any less. It's only going to get more and more. a part of our lives. So I encourage my kids. I love it when they're programming or when they're on their playing games or they're doing their shortcut. Like, for example, I've got a 9-year-old daughter. Last year, for her birthday, she made a 122 PowerPoint presentation of all the presents that she wants. Ridiculous, hilarious. And she only got a fraction of them. But just the fact that she made a 122-point PowerPoint presentation, that's a tongue twister, at the age of 8 for her birthday. I thought that's just amazing.
Oh yeah, so potential there.
She knew how to import all images and where to get all the links and all. Images with the links where to buy them from as well. It was just amazing. So yeah, I encourage the kids.
The other obsession, right? There's another obsession everybody has. The 10K a month obsession. Yeah. Every ad I see, it's a promise of you can make 10K a month.
Yeah.
You'll be at 10K a month, blah, blah. Realistically, okay, since we're having this wave of reality thrown at us, how long does it take to get to this sort of 10K a month level? And how much do you really realistically should be turning over before you can be pocketing 10K a month?
I don't know anyone making 10K a month. Let's see, you're the podcast host here. See when you get someone on this podcast that's making 10K a month from doing some online stuff. I'd love to know. Listen, a lot of it is just hot air and people selling courses. But there are businesses clearly that make much more than that. But for that, you've got teams, you've got investment, you've got marketing, you've got all sorts of spend on operations. It's hard work. Making £10,000 a month profit is very, very difficult. That's $2,500 profit a week. $2,500 profit a week. Let's say, for example, the profit margin is 10%. You're talking you have to turn over $25,000 a week to do £2,500 profit net.
Damn,
that's a serious business.
Yeah,
serious business with a lot of people involved.
Okay, but hang on. Let's flip it around a little bit now. Now we're in we're in AR space now. We've got more tools.
Yeah,
I am hearing, and I say I'm hearing. I saw it on a TikTok video that with the rise of technology and more productivity. We could now have smaller companies with a smaller workforce making a hell of a lot more money now.
Yep.
So that is a very much possibility.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, outsource a lot of stuff or get AI to do a lot of the stuff. Your own business can be a lot more efficient. But still, the principle is $25,000 to get other people to spend £25,000 with you every single week for you to make £2,500 a week net profit. Is serious. That's a serious business.
Yeah, there's got to be.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
You have to be turning over 25K a week.
Yeah,
and that's if you're being conservative with 10% margin.
Yeah.
All right, here I am. I'm starting my business. I'm switched on. What would you say? Here's a few things you need to really maybe invest into or take care of completely.
Right.
I.e., consult me. Actually, Cameron, you need an arm of your social media.
What's your business?
Oh, do we need to go into these details?
just give me
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to say I'm a social, because everyone wants to be a social media marketing agency. There's a lot of opportunities for that, I still think. Let's say I am a marketing agency.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I'm a one-man band right now.
Right.
And I want to take it to the next level.
Okay, right, fine. For you, it's going to be very difficult. And the reason is because the numbers don't lie. You turn up to my door at Boss Pizza and say, Ajmal, I'm a social media marketing expert. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out my phone and I'm going to say, what's your name? Cameron's social media agency. You've got 122 followers. Oh, you're great at making videos. No problem. Let me have a look. Oh, your last video got 75 views. So one thing you need to do is you actually need to be very good at what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So what I would say to you is, embrace TikTok and get a video camera or use your phone. You need to start building up the proof and the track record before you go out there into the world. Now, let's say, for example, you come to me 6 months down the line and say, Ajmal, I want to do the social media marketing for Boss Pizza. Cameron, who are you? Oh, wow, you've got 1.2 million followers. Okay, right, tell me more. What are we doing? I'm sitting up, I'm listening. You're going to create videos for me? Seriously? Okay, let me have a look at your videos. 1 million view, 2 million view, 3 million view. That's much more serious. Now I'm interested. So if you want to be a marketing agency, you need to have the proof to hand, because see, the people that you're selling to, they can instantly see if you're good or not just by looking at their phone.
Now, if you had a guy like that who had shown those sort of numbers, does he have a different type of market value? Like, let's say
Straight away.
So right now he could say to you, yeah, I could do that same thing for you, Ajmal, but it's going to be about, I don't know, £5,000 a month.
Straight away. So this actually happened to me a few years ago. Someone came to me and says, I could do your video editing for you, and I'm quite good at it. I said, show me your views. And his views were insane. Took him on board straight away. And he now does all my video editing.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
So the numbers don't lie.
So make sure social proof is important.
You need that.
You need a portfolio.
You need a portfolio, or you need social proof. See, before social media, the stats and metrics, you could turn up to me and say, Ajmal, I'm really good and I've worked for this guy and I've done that. And if you were convincing enough, you could perhaps persuade me. But now business owners, they look at the numbers and the numbers don't lie.
Okay. So, let's say every business, they need a marketing wing.
Yep.
They need a sales wing. Now, do you believe in leading from the front?
Yes, I do. And that's what I do for my business, is I lead from the front. I'm proud of my product, I'm proud of our offering, and I'm happy to stand in front of the camera and talk about it. Like this.
Okay, so we need to have good social proof. We need to be good at sales.
Yep. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. On that point that I just made about the camera, yeah, I might be okay in front of camera. And then people say, well, what if you're shy and you're a bit more introverted? It doesn't matter. See, if you're, I watch YouTube videos about guys that are a little bit socially awkward, but they're teaching me how to plant strawberries and grow strawberries. Clearly they love what they do, but it's authentic and people love that. So if you're a little bit shy or introverted, or you've got a bit of a weird angle in something, as long as you love what you're doing and you're comfortable talking about it, yeah, that's a big win.
So what I'm getting from this now is, if I was to just conclude this entire interview, basically we're saying the opportunities are vast. There's plenty of opportunity out there. However, you have to work hard, grind it out, be thick-skinned, be resilient, be ready to get punched in the face, consider leaving, maybe obsess about the fact that you're going to give up numerous times during this journey.
Yeah.
But it's going to be entirely bloody worth it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a great summary. So I speak a lot about the hardships and the stress and the struggles. I mean, even the last couple of weeks, I've had days where I've not been sleeping well because I'm just so stressed. But the flip side is, when things start to go well, my God, it's just unlimited spending. You live in a beautiful house, you drive whatever car, you go on holiday where you want, you can do anything. And that is, I suppose, the side of my entrepreneurial journey that I never speak about, because I'm not naturally like no one ever sees my house or what I drive, or I don't pose in front of my cars or anything. Not that I've got anything spectacular, but that's a side of me that I like to keep private.
Yeah,
because I think if you've got it, you don't need to flaunt it.
The flex.
Yeah, I'm not.
No need to flex.
I think I've just been so turned off by the amount of flex on social media with all these Lambos and all these guys posing with cars that I wouldn't even want to put myself in that.
Do you believe in the evil eye?
I believe, I think to a certain extent. I think success attracts a lot of jealousy and hate. So, yes. Yeah. And I suppose that's the reason why I don't speak about, or I don't show the successful side of what I've got. I focus more on the hardship and the struggle. Because I'll tell you one thing, the minute you start to do well, people come at you. Court cases, this, that, you name it. But see, when you're a nobody, no one cares about you. So the minute you start to do well, people come at you. So it's just very important, if you're doing well, play it down and don't boast about it too much.
So when someone says, like, I always get cornered with this, when someone says, oh, hey, how's business?
Yeah.
Do you think we should play it down, or should be like, yeah, it's actually fantastic at the moment. We're killing it.
That's a great point, right? So when my first food business, I grew it to being the biggest takeaway operation in Britain. When anyone ever asked me, Ajmal, how's it going? The answer would be, yeah, it's all right. Always all right. I never ever said, oh yeah, I'm doing really well. I'm really, really busy. We were out. The reality is we were outputting one. I can talk about this now because I've sold it, built it up and sold it. We were outputting one meal every 15 seconds. I had eight people just packing orders. I had call centers taking phone calls. This place was insane. It was like an aircraft hangar of a kitchen. I sold it. But whenever anyone asked me, Ajmal, how you doing? I always said, yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Ticking along.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough grind.
Ticking along, yeah. And what you'll find is people who are genuinely doing well, they're not out there flexing. So, for example, if you can just imagine a huge bodybuilder here, and you ask him, "Are you strong?" He's going to say, "Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I enjoy my time in the gym, and I'm sort of happy with the way I am." He's not going to say, "Oh, I'm the strongest guy in this room, and I can take you on, and I can take." They don't talk like that. So if you've genuinely got it, it's downplayed.
That's a good addition. Play it down.
Yeah.
Anybody asks, try not to flex. Try not, because I've always felt cornered by that question. I feel, I'll be honest with you. I've always had someone say, "Oh, how's things?" I'm like, "Oh, fantastic. We're killing. We've got project here, project there." But now I didn't, and then I got really worried because I thought, am I attracting like the evil eye?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, Cam? In fact, someone senior to me, my mentor, he said to me, "You know what, Cam? Just tell people, it's ticking along. It's all right. It's a tough grind. You know what it's like."
Yeah. That's a very good point, actually. So I think if you're doing well, to say you're doing all right. Yeah. Because I cast my mind back to that time I was flying. If I told everyone I'm doing really well, then people get alerted. All right, what's this guy doing? Right, we want to copy some of that. Let's do some copycat actions and try and steal some of the market share.
Ajmal's killing it. Yeah, you know what we should do? We should get, say, a factory together. We should cook curry from there. We'll kill it. And yeah, you're right. People will always copy your ideas.
Exactly.
You can't get away from that, can you, really?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ajmal. I think I'm well armed now to take on 2026.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's quite sombering, I've kind of had to adjust myself to reality.
Humbled a little bit. It's not it's not as easy as people make out to be. It's a tough grind.
Yeah, but don't hate me if you see a course coming out on AI course or prompting from Cameron Card.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Ajmal. As always. I learn something new all the time.
It's been a great conversation, and thank you for having me.
If anyone wants to get hold of you, speak to you, message you, contact you, what's the best way?
I'm mainly on TikTok at Ajmal Mushtaq, and I'm on Facebook as well, Ajmal Mushtaq. Just be warned, there are quite a few scam accounts out there with my same name. They upload my videos, use the same name. They maybe put an underscore or a dot or a double L or something. But Ajmal Mushtaq is the account with 80,000 followers, 90,000 followers. I only follow one other account. That's a Boss Pizza account. That's my original account.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you very much, Ajmal.
Thank you.
Pleasure being with us. And guys, that was, we're armed now. We're ready. 2026, here we go. But given what Ajmal has said to us, we'll be on a beach in Dubai maybe by the year 2028 or 29, I suppose. All things going well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and 10 grand a month. No, it's £25,000 a week.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Signing out, everyone. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. That was excellent. Thank you very much.
Your local entrepreneur podcast. Over and out.
Staying hungry.